Boys and girls, good morning. Today is your second video and we're going to read a book about Pete the Cat. Pete the Cat is a very famous character that just came out a few years ago and has been making stellar impressions with a lot of the books that they've been publishing. Now, there are different authors, but they're all with a very good purpose of teaching something from this character called Pete the Cat. In this story, which is related to clothing, it's called Pete the Cat and His 4 Groovy Buttons. And this book is written by Eric Litwin. Now, Eric Litwin is one of the authors, and the illustrator is James Dean. James Dean. And he's the creator of Pete the Cat, James Dean. Now, some stories will come out from James Dean. This is not one of them, but this one is from Eric Litwin. And let's see what he has for you. Pete the Cat, my 4 groovy buttons. I wanted to show you this one. Isn't that cute? That's awesome. Pete the Cat put on his favorite shirt with 4 big, colorful, round, groovy buttons. He loved his 4 buttons so much, he sang this song. My buttons, my 4 groovy buttons. My buttons, my 4 groovy buttons. My buttons, my 4 groovy buttons. Pop! Oh no! One of the buttons popped off and rolled away. How many buttons are left? If you had 4 and 1 popped, how many are left? Count. Very good. 3. 3. Because 4 minus 1 equals 3. I like this. It's all mixed up with math. 3 groovy. Did Pete cry? Goodness, no. Buttons come and buttons go. He kept on singing his song. My buttons, my 3 groovy buttons. My buttons, my 3 groovy buttons. Pop! Oh no! Another button popped off and rolled away. How many buttons are left? So he had 3. 1 popped. How many are left? Excellent. 2. 2 buttons. Because 3 minus 1 equals 2. Did Pete cry? Goodness, no. Buttons come and buttons go. So he kept singing his song. My buttons, my 2 groovy buttons. My buttons, my 2 groovy buttons. Pop! Oh no! Another button popped off and rolled away. How many buttons are left? So he had 2. 1 popped. How many are left? You got it. 1. 1. Because 2 minus 1 equals 1. Did Pete cry? Goodness, no. Buttons come and buttons go. He kept on singing his song. My buttons, My one groovy button. My button. My button. My one groovy button. Pop. Oh no! The last button popped off and rolled away. How many buttons are left? Exactly 0. Because 1 minus 1 equals 0. Did Pete cry? Goodness, no. Button comes and buttons go. Pete looked down at his buttonless shirt, and what do you think he saw? What do you think he saw? His belly button. And he kept singing his song. He looks like he's at the beach. Look at the palm tree and the ocean in the back with the sand. It's nice, huh? It's all good. My buttons. My button. I still have my belly button. My button. My button. I still have my belly button. And that one's never gonna fall, so that's not gonna be lost for sure. I guess it simply goes to show that stuff will come and stuff will go. But do we cry? Goodness, no! We kept on singing. Amazing how they made this story, right? Buttons come and buttons go. And all the buttons you can get. The end. So this story is about subtraction, not just buttons. Subtraction. And let me tell you, the smarter you get, the better you are. Now, I'm going to include another video from somebody else who did the song of Pete the Cat, so you can sing it too. But it's pretty much the song that we were singing over here on the book, alright? So, remember, smart is not something you are. Smart is something you get.